There is a secret hidden inside the Bhagavad Gita, not about war, not about duty, but about something deeper, about who you really are. We live our lives chasing things, jobs, money, relationships, status, but still something feels missing. We wake up, scroll, work, eat, sleep, yet the heart quietly whispers, "Is this all there is?" Krishna in chapter 9 smiles and says, "No, Arjuna, there is something far greater, but few can see it." This chapter isn't called royal knowledge for nothing. It's the crown jewel of wisdom, the secret of peace, love, and God's presence in everything. I have created a full Bhagavad Gita playlist, one video for each chapter. If you haven't seen it yet, do check it out after this one. So today, let's walk through this chapter like friends. No Sanskrit barriers, no heavy philosophy, just you, me, and Krishna, heart to heart. Krishna begins softly, "Because you are not envious, Arjuna, I will tell you the most secret knowledge, the king of all wisdom and the king of all secrets." He calls it Raj Vidya, the royal knowledge, and Raj Good, the royal secret. Why royal? Because this truth rules everything. Your joy, your peace, your freedom. And why secret? Because it's hidden, not in books, but in your heart. Krishna says this wisdom is simple, pure, and easy to practice, but only those with faith can truly taste it. Think about that. In a world where everyone wants logic and proof, Krishna says believe, trust, love, not blindly, but deeply, because faith is the language your soul understands. Krishna says something so poetic here. All beings are in me, but I am not in them, yet everything exists in me. Sounds confusing, right? It's like saying the waves are in the ocean, but the ocean isn't in the waves. He means God is everywhere, in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the stranger walking past you. You can't see him like you see objects, but you can feel him when your heart becomes still, when you look at the sunrise and feel peace, when you help someone and your chest feels light. That's Krishna inside you, smiling quietly. You have never been alone. No one has. Krishna says, at the end of every age, all beings merge in me, and at the beginning, I create them again. He is describing the cosmic cycle, creation, preservation, and destruction, like breathing in and out. We humans think we are doing everything. I made this happen. It's my idea. I'm successful. But Krishna says, no, you are the instrument. I am the energy behind it. He's not taking credit. He's freeing us. Because when you realize you are not the doer, you stop stressing about outcomes. You just act with love, without fear. Krishna says, foolish people don't recognize me when I appear as a human being. Even when God walks behind us, we ignore him. We get lost in appearance, the skin, the clothes, the fame. We forgot to see the divine essence inside. Just like in life, we admire people's looks, status, followers, but rarely see their souls. That's why Krishna calls this chapter secret. Because truth hides in plain sight, only the heart can see it. Then Krishna changes tone, soft, loving, compassionate. He says, the great souls know me as the origin of all things. They worship me with full of hearts, constantly singing my glory. A true devotee, Krishna says, doesn't just pray in temples. He lives in remembrance. He washes dishes with love. He studies with devotion. He smiles with gratitude. For such people, life itself becomes worship. So if you ever wonder, how do I serve Krishna? The answer isn't grand rituals. It's in your sincerity. Whatever you do with a pure heart becomes a prayer. Krishna says, even though who worship other gods actually worship me, though in ignorance, that means there is no competition between religions or paths. Every sincere act of faith reaches the same divine source. Different rivers, same ocean. So whether someone says Allah, Jesus, Krishna or Shiva, Krishna is saying love is one, God is one. One of the most famous verses in Gita says, if someone offers me a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water with love, I accept it. So simple, right? Krishna doesn't ask for gold or rituals. He asks for bhav, the feeling. He says don't overcomplicate devotion. Even your smallest act done with pure intention, touches God. You could whisper His name once before sleeping and He hears. You could smile at someone who needed it and He smiles too. Krishna gives the golden formula for peace. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, do it as an offering to me. Meaning, turn your entire life into a temple. Every action becomes worship when done without ego. If you are studying, dedicate it. If you are helping at home, dedicate it. Even if you are resting, rest with gratitude. That's how ordinary becomes divine. Next, Krishna gives the verse that melts the hardest heart. I am equal to all beings, but whoever worships me with devotion, I am in them and they are in me. He doesn't judge your past. He doesn't care about labels. He looks at your heart, not your resume of sins. Even if the greatest sinner worship me with devotion, he is to be considered righteous. This is the love of God, unconditional, forgiving, inclusive. So if you ever feel like I have made too many mistakes, Krishna whispers, "Come as you are, I was waiting for you anyway." Krishna ends with the gentlest promise. Those who take refuge in me, even if they are of low birth, women, merchants, or workers, all can attain the highest state. He breaks the social barriers, proving spirituality is not about caste, gender, or education. Anyone can reach God through love. Then he ends with the command of the heart. Fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, offer your heart to me. Surely you will come to me, not after death, but right here, right now, in every breath of awareness. The royal secret isn't a mystery, it's a realization. God is not somewhere else, He is within you. You are not a small person trying to reach divinity. You are divinity temporarily wearing a human mask. The more you remember this, the more peaceful your life becomes. You stop craving, comparing, fearing, because you realize everything is already scarred. Let's be real, we all forget. We get angry in traffic, anxious about future, jealous online. But chapter 9 isn't asking you to be perfect, it's asking you to remember again and again. You don't have to quit your job or move to Himalayas. You just need to change the why. Don't work for money, work through Krishna. Don't love to be loved, love because you are love. Don't pray to get something, pray to connect. That shift, that's the royal knowledge. If Krishna were sitting beside you tonight, he'd probably say, "My child, I am not lost. You are never alone. In your laughter, your failures, your heartbreak, I was there. When you cried thinking I was gone, I was the one holding your heart together." And maybe you'd smile through your tears and ask, "So what should I do now?" And Krishna would just say, "Do everything with love. See me in everyone." The moment you do that, you have found the royal secret. If this chapter helped you to feel Krishna's presence in a new way, share it with someone who's struggling, doubting, or lost. Comment below which verse or message touched your heart today. And remember, you don't have to search for God. You just have to stop forgetting Him. I'll be uploading chapter 10 next Sunday. Stay tuned and walk this path with me, step by step, chapter by chapter. Jai Shri Krishna.